So here we are, part 6, the grand finale. God, this has been another project which has just gone so swimmingly. Yeah, we've had a few hiccups in terms of postal service over the last couple of weeks, but I couldn't have asked for this series to go down any better than it already has. Not only has it brought a bunch of new people to the channel, but they're all engaging on these episodes, and shows me as a creator I can do a mock from an older film and it still get the views that I want it to get, and justifies such an intense project like this. So I'm gonna say it one last time because this is the last time I'm gonna say it. Welcome to the last part of building the ultimate Civil War airport battle, a 6-part series where we go through and try and make that original set from 2016 more of a UCS or Master Builders standard. If this is the first episode you're seeing, I highly suggest going back because there's 5 other episodes where we go in depth into every step of the process from the plan all the way to building time lapses. In this week we're adding about $100 worth of parts that you would have seen the mocks for in part 3. I'll go through them one by one and then we will do a review of the full set. And then I'll give you some hints to what's coming in the future. So jumping right in, you can see from part 3 that we had a bunch of new things to add, and I want to start by talking about these wings on the plane. The original wings for the plane were just this giant piece that I couldn't use as I wanted Giant Man to be able to rip one of these wings off and have him posed with the wing in his hands, similar to how we saw in that one scene where he ripped the wing off the plane. This meant I had to deconstruct the plane from its original build and then change a few things up to try and brick build one of these wings, and then obviously copy and flip that to the other side, but leave a breakaway so we can easily break the wing off so Giant Man can hold it in the final build, which I'll show you guys a bit later. Moving on, I really wanted to have Wanda throwing some cars, so I decided to just buy some LEGO City sets last minute. I believe these two to be police cars from the LEGO City line, just modified slightly to look less policey, and I wanted to put them up on stands just to show that Wanda was throwing them at Iron Man and they were levitating off the ground. As for some of the details I wanted on the ground for the airport, I decided to make these boxes, and that's mainly because the original set had a similar sort of set of boxes, probably trying to replicate these ones from the same scene where Ant-Man kicks them, so I thought I'd build a large amount of boxes, just doing it in 2 different sizes to place randomly throughout the scene. As for the jetway, yes, I do read the comments. I really like the way that this one turned out. Yeah, it's a bit boxy, but the inside of it all is tiled off with these nice grill tile pieces, along with the top using 2x4 tiles, and these wheels at the bottom are incredibly detailed with an easy detachable point so minifigures can hold up the structure, meaning we can replicate the scene where Spider-Man and Captain America are having a fight. It falls on Spider-Man and Spider-Man holds it up just using his bare strength. We can replicate this with a minifig now. And hold the phone, sorry for interrupting, I just wanted to let everybody know that I have a P.O. box that I haven't announced on the channel yet really, but it's been in the descriptions. I guess you can count this as the announcement. But to the one person who sent me something, I opened it and it ended up being a battle droid with no name or no letter in there that just reads, "You just got clankered." Thank you for being the first person to send me something to my P.O. box without me necessarily announcing it, so I was very confused why something turned up. But if you guys did want to send me anything, even if it's just a letter, a drawing, anything, I do want to do some form of mail time episode where I open things that people have sent me, because I feel like it would be a fun, entertaining video. If you want to do that, the P.O. box is linked in the description below. Anyway, back to the episode. But as I thought the airstrip would be a bit plain without a few more vehicles, I decided to add these luggage cars, and these all made up from the studio file look very nice in hand. And although yes, I did get a few used pieces from the bricklinker I bought them from, I still think the color aspects worked really well, and I can't wait to see how this and the other vehicle I have planned complements the airstrip and just the busyness of the overall scene. Speaking of which, this is that vehicle. Now I love this build, it's so unbelievably good, and you can see exactly where I got the instructions to build this from part 3, so you should definitely go back and watch it if you're interested in building some of these models yourself. But this model here was extremely fun to build. Yeah, I modified it from its original instructions a little bit, just to make it a little bit more affordable, and I must say minifigures on the top of it don't look half bad either. Now before we get into the final model, I just want to say I really enjoyed this whole process of start to finish, and the members behind the scenes video will be out in early January so you guys can see that. It's just not ready yet, but I do want to explain a little bit how this is going to work going forward into 2022 with future projects. Now don't worry, no spoilers, but with the release of No Way Home, there are a lot of mock projects that I want to take on, and I really need to be careful which kind of ones I'm prioritizing in terms of a large scale mock like this one, considering there are a bunch of new releases as well which I also want to cover. We've now done what I would classify as 2 large scale mocks and 1 small scale mock, being the Daily Bugle mock and now this Civil War mock in the large category and the Vulture Wing set in the small category. And although in my head I already have the next large scale mock planned and I've already began starting to work on things in the background, Believe me when I say that it will be bigger and more expensive than both the Daily Bugle and this series, but I don't want to give away fully what it is just yet, as there's still a lot of things to still finalize and make sure that it's even possible to do. But if that's not vague enough to subscribe, I don't know what is. While this project is still getting sorted out, I plan to do a lot of these smaller scale mocks that I plan to release instructions alongside of, so you guys will be able to build some of the mocks that I do myself. But these episodes will be nice one-off little episodes that you guys can watch and then potentially build yourself if you guys were interested in doing that yourself. But as for the next large-scale multi-part project, I'm going to hold off on announcing anything at the moment. Rest assured that there's something in the works right now, but until next year, I'm not going to know whether this project is possible or not. So hang tight, I'll make a video when I have more information on it. But as for the first mini-part episode, to still keep up some engagement on what you guys would like to see first, go and vote on my community tab. I've already started planning out all of them. I just want to know which one you guys would like to see first. But that's all for now on future plans. Now, in the Daily Bugle multi-part series that we did, I saw a lot of feedback in terms of the last episode, and the finale just being a montage of the full set. I had a lot of comments saying that I should have gone more in depth into the set, so that's exactly what I plan to do with this episode, with a cinematic episode coming tomorrow for you guys to watch a cinematic of the full set. So without further ado, here's the reveal. And as you can see, this is a gigantic set. This ended up being way bigger than I thought it was going to be, and not just in terms of height, in terms of width as well. I genuinely thought that this wasn't going to be that big of a set, and thought it was going to be pretty lackluster on the last episode. But I'm happy to say that this set ended up being huge, and truly do feel like this deserves the status of Master Builders. As if LEGO did make a set like this, I genuinely seeing this being a fan favourite amongst Marvel fans. In relation to the original plan, it was actually stuck to pretty damn well. You can see from the plans that the airport tower did end up getting slightly taller, as the original plan was to have Giant Man be the biggest thing in the MOC, but I think as the set expanded outwards, it also expanded upwards. And the one thing I really like about this whole model is the fact that it's so diverse and interchangeable, as we didn't put it on any form of base plate. Something I truly feel like a Master Builders set should be able to do, and do it well, which I feel this does. Obviously I've put this on a grey table to kind of sell the effect of a runway, but I could see this set being displayed very well on a shelf, with the only thing maybe giving you a bit of trouble was that plane. But the good thing is because one of the wings is cut off, you can display it with its no wing side against the wall, as surprisingly the plane is actually very well balanced and doesn't fall over. But I still think my favourite part about this entire process and the MOC have to be the minifigures. The minifigures are just so awesome, and they look really good in this final scene. I even added a triangle piece on the end of a pole attached to Falcon's foot to try and sell the illusion that that was Red Wing, as his CMF just used the same piece with a bit of printing on it. The rest of the minifigures look great in the scene, and I think I'm going to classify Giant Man as a minifig build, but he's still technically a minifig as he's shaped like one, so he's still considered my favourite part of this build. And that reminds me, the Giant Man instructions are now 100% complete, and they're available over on TommyCBricks.com, so if you did want to go and take on the challenge of building this Giant Man for yourself, and believe me when I say he is a challenge, you can 100% go over to my website and purchase those instructions now. And as for the rest of the build, everything's just sat there to complement it, so things like these boxes, the cones, are just all there to sell the effect of this being an airport, and I believe that this is finally project complete. But whoa, wait a minute. I don't actually think this could be the last time we see the airport scene on the TommyCBricks channel, as I've started a new mini MOC series very similar to these multi-parts but in one video. I've already done one episode on it where we tackled the final vulture scene, and I believe we could do a very similar one for the scene where Spidey jumps on that luggage car van and that helicopter when they first interact with Captain America. So maybe this isn't the last time we'll see the airport, and if you want to see what a little taste of that could be, click the screen now. I'll see you in the next one. Remember the cinematics tomorrow, and thanks for joining me on this amazing series.